A Blazers beat reporter named Sean Highkin went on the Raptors show recently and dropped some nuggets regarding trade talks involving the Toronto Raptors and Portland Trailblazers, including some insights into the players Dame likes to play with. And spoiler alert, OG Anunoby is on that list. So we'll break it all down in this video. Let's first just break down some of the nuggets that were dropped on this podcast, as basically Sean Highkin was brought onto the Raptors show and dropped some information, some tidbits. Specifically, we'll start with the OG Anunoby trade drama, as OG has been a guy that's been linked to the Portland Trailblazers for a very long time. And Portland, in hopes to keep Damian Lillard, they saw an opportunity that they hoped they'd be able to capitalize on when the Raptors, surprisingly at least to Toronto's front office, lost Fred VanVleet. Toronto thought they were going to be able to bring him back at what Michael Grange said would have made a deal that would have made him the highest paid player on the Toronto Raptors annually. So something in the mid $30 million per year contract range, which I think a lot of Raptors fans would have looked at as a serious overpay given our current roster construction, the flexibility we need going forward in order to retain, the guys have been highly productive on the squad, the younger group, all these types of dudes. So, the Raptors were confident they'd be able to bring him back, but then the Rockets came in with an absolutely astronomical contract. Fred leaves for Houston, and now the Raptors didn't have a guard. Well, Sean Highkin said that the Blazers tried to jump on this little opportunity, said, hey, maybe we could cook something up and keep Damian Lillard happy and bring in apparently one of his favorite guys, the favorite archetypes of players to play with, and acquire OG Anunoby, because there was a lot of discussions, and Highkin basically confirmed the Raptors were looking for, not this most recent draft, the previous year. In order for OG Anunoby to go to Portland, they wanted the number 7th pick, which ended up becoming Shaedon Sharpe. They also wanted Josh Hart, Nasir Little, and a future first. So that trade package has been thrown around a little bit, was confirmed by Sean Highkin today, and Portland said, hey, maybe we could re-engage in these discussions, add some serious draft capital along with Anthony Simons, who could potentially be a solid lead guard on a potential squad. I mean, Anthony Simons, when Damian Lillard has been out, has proven he's a flamethrower. He can get hot in a hurry, knock down a lot of threes, facilitate not at a horrible level. So, Anthony Simons wouldn't have been a bad return, especially when Fred VanVleet was out of the market. But Masai Ujiri decided to go in the direction of, hey, Dennis Schroeder's out here. We don't have to give up OG Anunoby. Schroeder can come in. Sure, he's not the shooter of an Anthony Simons or other free agents like Gabe Vincent or some of these dudes, but he can come in, run the point guard position, can facilitate, has a long history of, sure, he has an up and down career, but has a longer track record of being a solid NBA player, was good in the playoffs for the LA Lakers this most recent season. Not a horrible three-point shooter, but can slash, play good defense. Looked at Schroeder as the better route, the better opportunity, and we saw the Raptors jump on Dennis Schroeder basically immediately after Fred VanVleet signed. I'm sure they had a couple hours there where they had an indication Fred might be going to Houston. So, the Blazers, they tried to capitalize on a potential Anthony Simons for OG Anunoby trade, but did not end up happening. But I also alluded to it earlier. Sean Highkin also dropped a little nugget that I think a lot of people just sort of missed, overlooked from this conversation. I'm not seeing a lot of people talk about it, but Highkin basically came out and said that, if the Toronto Raptors were interested in a Damian Lillard trade, I mean, OG Anunoby is the guy Dame would like to play with. So basically indicating that, if the Raptors do go in the route, he didn't confirm there were any discussions, that there were any topics going on, that Dame said, get me to play with OG Anunoby explicitly. Didn't say anything like that, but if the Raptors were to get in the mix for Damian Lillard to make a potential trade happen, Dame likes to play with those, or is hoping to play with the type of archetype of player that is OG Anunoby. A very, very strong wing defender, can space the court, can do the things out there that would complement a guy like Damian Lillard, who is putting up nuclear stats this most recent season, 32 points per game, strong facilitator, all these types of things. Right? Dame wants to play with a guy that's similar to OG Anunoby and do these types of things. Right? Not him specifically, not, Dame's calling out and saying, hey, get me to play with OG Anunoby. But if the Raptors were to make a trade for Dame, I've been throwing out some hypothetical trade packages. I think we can beat a lot of the market. Apparently, keeping OG Anunoby would be more of a priority if, Dame wants to play with him over a guy like Pascal Siakam. I mean, if we threw Pascal Siakam out there on the open market, we could easily get a Damian Lillard deal done. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it. maybe the Blazers, this depends on what they want. They might want some younger guys, younger talent. Pascal is an up-and-coming free agent, so maybe sending Pascal to a third team and the assets going somewhere else. That could be the avenue to sort of make a deal happen, make a deal go down, but I don't know. Found it interesting, because if the Raptors do sneak their way into the Damian Lillard discussions, I mean, OG Anunoby, it seems like, would have to stay on the squad, at least according to Sean Heineken. But we also have some updates. I'll just drop a few other little bits of information we've heard regarding Damian Lillard out there, because this is a full Damian Lillard video talking about the decline trade from the Raptors. But basically, the Trailblazers have not been impressed with the Heat's trade offer for Damian Lillard, which could lead to a deal elsewhere now, according to Agent Wojnarowski. While Damian Lillard prefers Miami, Portland needs to maximize value in any trade. Miami needs, at minimum, a third team to take on Tyler Herro's contract, and the Blazers have no interest in Herro. Portland will now take their time and find better offers elsewhere and receive the best package for Lillard. So, again, we heard the stuff that Portland was not just giving in to Damian Lillard's demands. There's still a lot of expectations Damian Lillard still is right now that he could end up still in Miami. Caleb Barton's a piece that apparently is a game changer in a Heat Blazers trade negotiation. I don't really get that, but that's some of the rumors, some of the talk that's going out there now. Their draft picks have actually been playing pretty well in Summer League. Maybe those assets can get it done, but apparently Tyler Herro is regarded as a negative asset. As Damian Lillard deal continues to be worked on, I'm told that at least one challenge in negotiation. Well, this is another completely different report. I thought pulled out the other information, but basically the Brooklyn Nets would be willing to take on Tyler Herro's contract, but they want draft capital, they want some pieces, they want some value added on top of it if they're going to take on Tyler Herro's deal, because these hot and cold guards, Tyler Herro's definitely a very solid player, knocks down shots, got a max contract, but at that type of money, right, these flamethrowers are a bit too inconsistent to be at value of their contract deal, at least on the trade market. So Brooklyn would want to get additional assets if they're acquiring Tyler Herro's contract, or relieve themselves of a worse asset or liability, I guess, on their squad, as this report basically says that Brooklyn wants to ship out Ben Simmons as a part of any trade. The sticking point that no team is particularly interested in taking him so far, per a source. Now, could the Raptors jump in the Ben Simmons drama train? Who really knows? But I digress on that point. But the Atlanta Hawks have been too much on my mind lately, but the Miami Heat have to get rid of Tyler Herro to make a deal, which teams don't seem that eager to acquire him, and the Brooklyn Nets have to get rid of a Ben Simmons if a deal's potentially going to go down, and I don't even know if the Shanghai Sharks would pick him up at the current money that he's collecting from the Brooklyn Nets over the coming season. So it's tough to really tell what's going to happen with the Damian Lillard sort of drama. I've heard that the Spurs could potentially be in the mix from I'm not sure if it was Woj or Shams, basically said Dame has a deep respect for the San Antonio Spurs organization. However, I don't really get that, because they're on a team that seems to be on a further back timeline than the Portland Trailblazers, even with Victor Wembanyama. So if Dame wants to win now, why go to San Antonio? If you want to develop on a team, stay with the Portland Trailblazers, stay loyal to the soil, all those types of things. The Clippers are also in the mix, but they're in the mix for Harden as well. And the Philadelphia 76ers are also not adding Tyrese Maxey to any potential Damian Lillard trade. So, I don't know what assets they could use to get involved in a Damian Lillard trade if Tyrese Maxey's staying on that squad. I mean, James Harden's not going to Portland. Tobias Harris is a big deal. He's an expiring expiring contract at too much money at this point, so there's not much value coming back to Portland on that end. It's weird, and the Toronto Raptors have the assets to make a deal go down, but it seems like OG Anunoby would have to stay on that squad. But let me know what you guys think about everything that's been going down regarding Toronto Raptors off-season drama. Subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date with everything regarding this team. Anyways, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.